Chapter 5, Part 2. Some of the men looked for any chance to leave their close quarters in spite of the bitter cold. Ord-Lees found a bicycle in the hold of the ship and practiced trick riding on the ice around Endurance. He also took long rides to the darkness until the day he got lost and had to be rescued. Shackleton told Ord-Lees in no uncertain terms that his bike riding days were over. Hurley took advantage of the light whenever possible to take photographs out on the ice. No matter how many odd jobs or errands the crew dreamed up, however, one fact remained. There was really nothing to do on that frozen ship but wait. Wait, wait. Some of the dogs had begun ailing, and this caused a great deal of anxiety for their drivers. After 14 dogs had died, Doctors Macklin and McElroy performed autopsies and discovered that many of the dogs had worms. The ship's stores did not include proper medication. Several litters of puppies promised to bring the number of the dogs back up. However, the men made pets of the new pups, carrying them in their pockets and taking them aboard as passengers on sled runs. Tom Crean made a miniature sled for his puppies and Worsley described their first attempt at pulling. Crean put his 4 pups in harness for the first time. Their howls of terror resound for miles around. They pursued a devious and uncertain course, and they floundered and puffed and panted along through the snow until their joy they are headed for the ship and for a few minutes dragged the hated sledge as fast as a dog team. The men were becoming very attached to their dogs, making straw mattresses for their dog glues, saving special treats for their favorites, and even crawling into the dog glues on occasion to share a dog's warmth. The puppies were kept on board the ship, where they occasionally got loose and ransacked the stores. Many nights the dog teams set up a wolf pack howl, sending their lonesome cries up toward an aurora australis that was bright enough to cast shadows on the endless field of ice. Cabin fever reached its peak in Midwinter's Day, June 22nd, when the crew celebrated with a raucous party. There were mock lectures and sermons, and then Kerr, the second engineer, made an entrance dressed as a tramp and began singing a ridiculous rendition of Spangoni the Toreador. He started out too high, and Hussey, who was accompanying him on his banjo, kept hissing lower, lower. Next, Marson took the stage dressed as a country bumpkin to sing Whitby-Combe Fair. Some of the men played a discord fantasia on homemade instruments, setting the dogs outside howling. At midnight, Green served up a snack of fried bread and onions, which everyone dug into eagerly. Then Frank Wilde tapped the embers of his pipe and stood up to recite The Wreck of the Hesperus by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. The Ritz grew solemn and still as he recited the mournful shipwreck saga, and the wind outside shrieked in the frozen rigging. There were no more jokes. The party ended with the toast and everyone singing God Save the King. The Antarctic winter was half over, with the men finally retired to their cabins and bunks. Outside in the darkness, the endless mass of pack ice was grinding against itself like a restless giant breaking mountains in its sleep. The picture and caption on page 38. The crew dressed in costume for a variety show, Midwinter's Day, June 22nd, 1915. In the days before movies and television, theatricals were a popular form of entertainment, and no ship would have set sails for a long voyage without costume and props. The crewmen on the left, in blackface, illustrate a form of racial slur common in the area, which no one today would tolerate.